What's up, everybody? Hope everybody is doing well, and welcome to yet another Autopsy Rants. And I know it's been a while, but I hope everybody had a good Christmas, a good New Year. Hope everybody's staying safe and COVID-free and all that jazz. I haven't actually made a video since probably a week or two before Christmas. This is probably the longest I've been on this channel without making a video. And that's been because not only have I been busy with life and family and the holiday seasons and stuff, but I got myself a 3D printer probably about a week and a half before Christmas. And dude, I have just been completely obsessed with this thing, and the possibilities are just so goddamn exciting with these 3D printers. I had never even used one before. I've seen so many videos of people making cool things with 3D printers, and by cool things, I mean guns and extended magazines, obviously. But I've seen so many people making so many cool things with 3D printers. It's like, dude, how much are these? I gotta try this out. I gotta try to use one. And the fact that you can get these printers for under $200 it's just crazy, the potential with 3D printers. And like I said, the possibilities are exciting, especially on things like firearms. And now look, I'm an American, and more than that, I live in Texas. So we have really loose, comparatively, gun laws compared to other places. But in most of the United States, from everything that I've seen, making your own firearms is, and has been for a long time, totally legal. Now, the problems that you run into is when you try to sell or distribute firearms and weaponry and things like that. But as far as creating something to use for yourself, as long as it abides by the other rules, like it can't be fully automatic, don't break the law, guys, we love the government over here on this channel, so they know what's best for us, so definitely do not break any laws. Now that we have that out of the way, you can really go from zero to something really cool in just a matter of a couple of weeks. And you don't have to be super tech savvy or some kind of a guru or a wizard as far as technology goes to make these things useful. I can tell you from experience, wink wink, that these things are useful, and you can save yourself a lot of money, but also it's amazing that you can create something that otherwise, if you went to the store and you bought, let's say, a Glock 19, you still, in the United States, have to go through the legal networks of a background check and, all the other things. You have to fill out the paperwork and all that kind of stuff and get this thing registered, basically, the serial number to your name. Well, 3D printers have done away with that. 3D printers have actually done more to kill gun control than anything the NRA has ever done. The people that have worked on these and catted these files and made these things available and tested these things, there's multiple videos of all the cool things that these people have come up with. And really, they're the real heroes for anti-gun control. They're the real heroes. So when I think about this, I got myself an Ender 3, a Creality Ender 3. And this thing, and I got the X version, which basically comes with a heated bed. So what this means is that thing cost me like $176, $175, something like that. You can get a roll of PLA or PLA Plus, which is the filament that you use, the plastic that you use, for those of you who aren't aware. You can get a roll of that, which you can do just about anything with. It's a lot of material that comes with it for about $20. So I'm looking at this in terms of gun control, and in terms of the oncoming Biden-Harris administration, and even the Republicans are absolute garbage when it comes to guns, in my opinion. But, obviously they're driving a slightly different speed limit than the Democrats are. At least Republicans understand what that issue would mean for a lot of their base. A lot of conservatives really like their guns. That's one freedom aspect conservatives are really good on, is being pro-gun. But what this means for a $200 NFA stamp for your AR-15, or a $200 tax stamp for an extended magazine. Now, for $200, you could, if the Uncle Joe or Aunt Kamala get their way, you would have to pay $200, I've covered this before, and register your AR-15 or whatever your semi-automatic rifle of choice is. You would have to register it under the National Firearms Act as if it were a machine gun, which is stupid, and you would have to pay like a $200 tax. Well, their plan also includes a similar thing for extended magazines. So for like a 30-round magazine for your AR-15, you would have to pay a $200 tax in order to get that magazine. Or you could just pay $200 to get a 3D printer and filament, and then all you would have to do after that, once you found the files, is find yourself some springs that will work in your magazine. And just like that, you've bypassed that retarded legislation. It's amazing the potential and the possibilities with these things. I mean, the way that the firearms are registered in the United States, largely like for an AR-15 is going to be the lower receiver. Well, you can print out a lower receiver within a day on one of these. And these are, again, there's like a lot of technology. There are the more advanced models that'll probably do things faster. Maybe it'll be quieter. Maybe it'll do things, just probably most of it's going to do with like a time preference. You have, auto leveling beds, all sorts of little like features that'll make certain things better or worse. But the fact that you can do it in a day with a $200 printer, in my opinion, that means gun control is done. That's pretty much the end of the argument. Now, you could always say, well, Drew, what happens when they ban all the other parts? Well, there are other ways to get those other parts. There are other ways to create those other parts. For anyone who hasn't seen the J. Stark 1809 popular front video, I would recommend anybody go and check that out. The fact that this man is in the middle of Europe and made his own semi-automatic 9mm carbine in a place where everything is regulated and banned involving guns. Lower receiver, upper receiver, any other pressure-bearing parts. The fact that this man could make this from scratch and then put the blueprints out for everybody. I mean, that's if you're living in Europe. Now, here, obviously, you have way more options when it comes to firearms. But it's just the potential and the possibility of these things are amazing. And like I've said, the people that work with the CADing, which is the creating the codes and putting the files out and hosting the files and putting the information out about 3D printing firearms, they have done more to curb gun control than the NRA ever has. They've done more to curb gun control than any fucking Republican in my lifetime has done. They've been way more helpful in that regard. And it didn't take a government to do it. It just took the people acting on their own. And good for them. Good for them. We could absolutely use some more of that. So a little bit I wanted to talk about here. I mean, I could ramble on about 3D printed firearms like all day long now. At this point, I still have a lot to learn, but I've learned so much. But I'm very enthusiastic about it. Also what the future holds, because the tech is only going to get better. The stuff now that's supposed to be coming out with like resin printers and nylon and carbon fiber. I mean, it really makes me happy for the future in that regard, because we're not getting anything from the people in power. I mean, and by the way, if you're relying on a conservative or a Republican majority Supreme Court to check some of these decisions, is in terms of gun control. Like if Biden and Kamala Harris pass the gun control they're proposing, and that's just now, what's it going to be in 30 years? What are the Democrats going to be pushing for? I mean, Republicans will probably be to the left of where the Democrats are right now, because that seems to be the trend of things. But if you're expecting a majority conservative Supreme Court to save you, just look at what they've done with the COVID bans on churches. That was a 5-4 decision. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this was recently weighed in on by the Supreme Court. Again, majority conservative. It was a 5-4 ruling that the government could not prohibit people from going to church because of COVID. Yeah, we had 9 justices, and that barely passed in a majority conservative Supreme Court. And in fact, I believe it was Gorsuch who came out with, when he was asked about this, came out and said that basically the government can cripple your rights for a time, but it can't just do it indefinitely. That was the conservative justices. That was their take on whether or not you have a right to attend church. Something that is clearly stated in the First Amendment. The right to gather peacefully, the right to attend places of worship. Yeah, you have that right. That is like nothing could be more clear than your right to go to church if you want to go to church. And their ruling barely passed that they couldn't stop you from doing that if you wanted to. So, no, I don't have faith in a conservative Supreme Court because I don't have faith in a Supreme Court. I don't have faith in the government at all whatsoever. Do what you can to protect yourself. And again, I need to do a little disclaimer here. Don't break the law, because the government knows best. They know what's best for you. Do not break their laws. And for the ATF guys listening, I'm on your side, okay? You and the NSA and every other alphabet boy that's listening, I'm with you guys. So I definitely don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get anybody else in trouble. So everybody just do exactly what they tell you. And if they tell you not to get a 3D printer and print firearms or look up the files or go to controlpew.com or grabcat.com or Thingiverse or Yegi or Cults or any of those places, definitely do not go there and look into how to easily access these files and download them and share them with your friends. Don't do that. Whatever you do, do not do that. Okay, so what to expect in 2021 from this channel? I want to do more basic economic videos. Economics is too goddamn important, and people don't understand it so much. This is at the heart of all the problems. The fact that we just passed this other stimulus check, which I'm sure you guys know, the $600 that we all get, even though it's like a $900 trillion bill. And, we send millions in foreign aid to Egypt and Israel and for gender programs in Pakistan. Meanwhile, we all get like $600. So all of us were robbed this last year. 30%, approximately 30% of the money supply in the United States was created last year. So the inflation's coming because people, including those in power, don't understand how this works, or two, they just don't care. Those are really your only options at this point. Most people don't understand how this works. Because I deal with these people all the time when they're like, whoa, yeah, we're getting another 600, and then Biden's wanting to pass another one. I'm like, you understand there's consequences for this, right? You understand, like, if you just continue to print the money, the value of the money goes down. So you're killing the dollar with this. It's probably why the dollar has just hit its 6-year low, and it's on the way down. The dollar index is sub 90 now, and it's just going down. It's going to get lower and lower and lower. It's also why Bitcoin is going absolutely crazy. It's why gold and silver have been moving up. Silver is almost at $28 an ounce today. Gold's back up to almost $2,000 an ounce. So, I have older videos on that for any of you who are newer that aren't familiar with my silver stacking videos. I did in the earlier days of this channel. I covered most of that. I am a big time silver stacker, have been for over a year now, and I'm really glad I got in when silver was half the price it is now. So yeah, I would definitely recommend looking into those. I have silver stacking guides for beginners for anyone who's interested. I'm a big proponent of saving and being your own bank, saving your money in gold and silver, getting out of dollars. I'm pretty new to cryptocurrencies, though I do have some. I mean, for me, I would love to talk to somebody who knows more about it than I do. But I don't see the benefit big enough yet to actually use this in transactions. Though I do think the people that have been holding on to their Bitcoin are doing very well at this point. I've made a bit of money off of it, but not nearly as much as some of these people. But I want to do more videos of basic economics. I do have a video planned to take down FDR, because I'm constantly getting into conversations with people about FDR and about how FDR was a dog shit president. But it's really hard to convince people of that. I hope everybody liked my Lincoln video, because that Lincoln video didn't take that much effort, because it was so fucking fascinating to find out just how awful all the information we've learned over the years as Americans through school and through popular culture. All the shit we learned about Abraham Lincoln is just so horribly wrong, and it's so important to understand that it's wrong, and the power of status propaganda. And speaking of status propaganda, that's another video I wanted to do, basically showcasing the similarities between religion and statism. And I know in the modern times I hear this a lot, where people try to say, this is like religion, or that's religion. People say that about everything. But the parallels between statism and religion are so strong that I really want to do a video, maybe even a series of videos, that showcase the similarities. Especially because so many people that I know here online are atheists, but yet they do not apply any of that skepticism to the state. Just in all the ways that it works, you have compulsory attendance to the church or the state. You have compulsory tithing via taxation. to the church or the state. There are just so many parallels that it relies entirely on propaganda to propagate itself. It's look forward to that in the future. There's going to be some videos on that. At least one good killer video on that, if not an entire series. But that's some of the things to look forward to. Again, I just wanted to make this short. I've already gone on longer than I thought. Those are some of the things to look forward to. I did add some of my content to SoundCloud. Apparently SoundCloud has a limit on how much you can upload unless you want to pay like $150 a year or something outrageous that I'm not going to pay for fucking SoundCloud. Even some of the bigger channels that I've listened to that do some stuff on SoundCloud, they're not pulling in near the views to justify, $150 a year for SoundCloud. So I'm looking for other alternatives because I like doing the audio only content because, like me, most of the stuff that I listen to on YouTube, but I don't actually watch it. I just keep it going in my ears, like while I'm working or while I'm, mowing the grass or doing the dishes or whatever the hell. So I do have some of it on SoundCloud. You can just look up Autopsy or Autopsy87 on SoundCloud if you want to see any of that, but it's most of the stuff that's from here. I'm looking for a new place to host audio-only content. That is more of like a popular place to do it. So I'll read the comments on this if anyone can suggest anything for me. But for now, that's it. Stay tuned, because there's plenty more to come.